Here's everything you need to know when editing your gaming content in DaVinci Resolve. Production. Before jumping into our editor, we'll need some media to edit. For today's example, I'll be editing the gameplay footage, some face camera footage and a high quality audio track of my voice that I'll sync up with the other footage. I was playing this game on my Mac, so I used screen recording software to capture the gameplay. If you want to show your face in your content, you can set up a camera and put it on record whilst you game. We'll sync this up with our footage later on. If you are using a face camera, don't forget about your lighting. Good lighting is generally what makes a camera shot look good, even if it's just a bedside lamp. And finally, I'm using a lapel microphone to capture high quality commentary whilst I game. Again, this can be any high quality microphone that works for you. Post-production. So now we've recorded our footage, it's time to edit it all together. As the title of this video suggests, we'll be using DaVinci Resolve. Open up Resolve and click New Project. Give your project an appropriate title and click Create. Next, we can select our media files and drag them into the media pool here. If you get prompted to change the project frame rate, click Change so that it matches the frame rate of your footage. Depending on how much footage you are editing, you might want to create some bins to keep your media organised within your project. To create a new bin, right-click inside the media pool and click New Bin. You can create as many of these as you need. Feel free to rename them into categories such as audio, footage, music, whatever's appropriate for you. Sync in your media. After we've organised our media, we can start bringing it down into the timeline for syncing. A timeline will automatically be created when we drag media down into the timeline area. Feel free to rename this or move it into a separate bin to keep your media pool organised. First, I'm going to sync the face shot with my high quality audio file. Now that I have both of these media clips in the timeline, I'm going to click and hold the left mouse button to highlight both clips. Then I'm going to go to Auto Align Clips and then click on Based on Waveform. This has now automatically synced the audio file with our face camera shot. Now that's synced, I'm going to click and hold the left mouse button to replace the reference track attached to our face shot clip. Holding the shift key whilst moving the mouse will ensure the track doesn't fall out of sync between tracks. Now we've overwritten the reference audio with our high quality synced audio, we can highlight both our camera shot and audio, right click them and select link clips. Now both media files will stay synced when we click and drag either the video or the audio. Now it's time to sync our gameplay footage with our other media. I'll have to manually sync this as the gameplay footage has only recorded the internal audio of my Mac. A good tip to make manually syncing easier is to have a visual cue line up with an auditory cue during recording. In this example, I clicked my fingers while simultaneously swapping tabs on my browser to use as the sync point. In my timeline, I'll find the exact frame where I click my fingers. You can also look at the audio waveforms if you're not using a face camera. You can use the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard to nudge either backwards or forwards one frame to find the perfect frame. Once we have the exact frame for the audio sync point, I'm going to select the clip and press M on the keyboard to create a marker. Now if we drag our gameplay footage down into the timeline, I will look for the exact frame on this clip where I swap tabs. Once I have the exact frame, I will do the same for this clip by selecting it and pressing M again to create a different marker. All we have to do now is either move our gameplay clip or our face camera clip so that both markers are in line with each other. Now all of our media is completely synced. Feel free to trim the edges by selecting the blade edit mode and then clicking on the edges of the clips that we don't need. We can then click the selection mode tool, then select the trimmed edges before pressing backspace on our keyboard to delete these. To ensure nothing falls out of sync, we can highlight all tracks in our timeline again, right click and select link clips once more. Now we can move our media around and everything will stay in sync. Framing your media. Before we jump into trimming our clips, I'm first going to resize and reposition our media so it looks aesthetically pleasing on screen. First of all, we'll want our face camera to be overlaid on top of our gaming footage. Currently, we can see the gaming footage is on the track above our face shot, so we'll need to move things around a little so that our face shot is on the highest track. I'm going to hold the Option key, or Alt on Windows, then click the face camera clip in the timeline. We need to hold the Option or Alt key as this will allow us to select only the face camera clip since we linked everything together. After we have this clip alone selected, we can hold Shift then click and hold our mouse to drag the clip to the track above our gameplay footage. Remember, we are holding the Shift key whilst doing this to ensure our clip doesn't fall out of sync with the rest of our media. If we don't hold Shift, then we might accidentally move the clip a couple of frames out of sync when moving it between tracks. Now that our face shot is above our gameplay footage, we can right click on the empty video track and select Delete Track. Once everything is structured correctly in our timeline, we can start adjusting the size and positioning of our media. Let's start with our face shot. Hold the Option key or Alt on Windows and click the face shot clip. We can now use the Inspector tab to adjust the properties of this clip only. If you can't see the Inspector tab, click Inspector here at the top and it will appear. We can use the zoom controls to resize our face shot along with the position controls to reposition it to a more appropriate place. We also have some cropping tools here in the Inspector tab to crop in on each side of our shot for full control. Once we're happy with how our face shot is positioned, we can then do the same for our gameplay footage by alt and clicking that clip in the timeline and using the same controls to reframe this media. Trimming and cutting your media. Next, we'll want to cut out the boring parts of our media to keep our video engaging. Put the timeline playhead at the start and press the spacebar to play the video. Whilst the video plays, you can press L on your keyboard to watch the video at 2 times the speed, press it again for 4 times the speed, and so on. You can also press K to pause the video within your timeline and J to reverse playback. Notice that the J, K and L buttons are next to each other on your keyboard, so think of these as rewind, pause and play. Keep an eye on the audio waveforms within your timeline, as these can hint at which parts of your video are engaging. For example, if there's a long section with no waveforms, the chances are nothing is happening in your video, so you can cut this out. To cut a section out, select the Blade Edit Mode tool and click at the point where you want the cut to start, marking the beginning of the section you want to remove. Next, click at the point where you want the cut to end, marking the end of the section you want to remove. We've now got this split section we've created with our cuts. We can click the Selection Mode tool next. To remove the selection, give it a click and press Shift and Backspace. Pressing Shift and Backspace will perform a ripple delete, automatically moving the next clip to fill the gap, ensuring there are no empty spaces in the timeline. If you only press Backspace, it will leave a gap in the timeline. While you can manually drag the following clip back using the Selection tool, ripple deletes could save you a lot of time when editing gaming videos. You can then continue to go through your content using the Blade and Selection tools, cutting out the boring parts of your video until you are left with a collection of the best clips. Adding transitions and effects. Once we've finished trimming our clips, we can start thinking about effects and transitions to spice up our video a bit. Make sure the Effects tab at the top here is toggled on and you'll see all of the different effects you can use in Resolve. For example, if I click on Video Transitions, I can drag a blur dissolve here between 2 clips in the timeline where I want to see the effect. If I play this through, we can see the blur dissolve happening between my gameplay clips. One thing I will say about transitions is don't overdo it. More often than not, a simple straight cut does the job when transitioning between clips. Overdoing transitions can be distracting and might make your video look like a 1980s music video. Less is usually more. As for effects, Resolve has a whole bunch of them under the Effects and Open Effects tabs. For example, if we go into Open Effects, I'll search for Drop Shadow and I'll click and drag this effect onto my face shot clips. We can see that a nice subtle drop shadow has now been added behind our face shot. To adjust the effect, Alt and click on the affected clip and head into the Effects section in the Inspector tab here at the top. This will show us any effects we've applied to a clip. For the drop shadow, we can change things like the shadow strength, the drop angle, blur, and even the colour of the shadow. There's an endless amount of transitions and effects to use in Resolve, so experiment with different ones and use whatever works for you. If you're looking for something a little more flashier to use, then you'll want to check out Videos. Videos allows you to create customised animations from our library of more than 3,000 templates. Just choose a template you like, customize the elements, render it out, and then simply drop it into your edit. Here's an animation I created in Videos in less than 2 minutes. All I have to do is bring the file into my project and drop it wherever I want in my timeline. These animations can take your videos from being okay to, wow, did you hire a professional? You can try Videos completely free just by following the link either in the description box or pinned comment down below. Leveling, audio and music. Having a bit of background music really helps set the tone of our video, so let's get one of those into our edit. I've got a track here that I've downloaded from Artlist, so I'll just drag this into my media pool before dropping it into a new track within our timeline. Feel free to cut and trim down the music track, just like we did with our clips earlier, so that it fits well within your edit. We'll also want to lower the volume of our music track so that our commentary can be heard. To do this, select the music clip within the timeline and head up to the audio tab within the inspector. You can change the volume using this control here. As a general rule of thumb, set this to around -25 decibels and listen to your edit. If the music is still too overpowering, you can reduce this further to -30 decibels, or even more if you think it needs it. If your music's too loud, your commentary might not be understood and viewers will quickly leave your video. Likewise, if the music sounds too quiet at -25, bring the volume back up till you hit that sweet spot. You can also adjust the volume on your commentary audio as well as the gameplay audio simply by selecting the appropriate clips within your timeline and using the same tool within the inspector. I would say trust your ears more than anything, but if you do want a more visual look at your audio levels, you can click the Mixer tab here at the top, where you'll then see the audio meters for each of your tracks. balance everything out nicely, and ensure your commentary can be heard. Exporting your video. And now the grand finale, our video is finished and it's time to export it. Head into the Deliver tab here at the bottom. There's a whole bunch of export settings you can use in Resolve, but we'll go with a simple YouTube preset. Scroll along to YouTube 1080p here and give it a click. Give your video a name and choose a location where you want it to be exported. All the other settings here should be fine as they are. Click the Add to Render Queue button at the bottom and you'll see your project in the render queue here at the top. Once you're ready, click the Render All button here and Resolve will export your masterpiece. And there we have it, you've just learned how to edit gaming videos like a professional. Remember to follow the link down below to access a whole library of templates you can use for your own content. Thanks very much for watching, hit that like button, and as always, happy creating.